but that night was different. Something had changed, something that kept thousands of pairs of eyes glued to the stage, unblinking. This wasn't just another concert. This was a moment that would be remembered, talked about, and perhaps unbelievable if not witnessed in person. It all began when the lights slowly dimmed, leaving the silhouettes of two figures standing center stage. The screams immediately erupted, echoing like a mini, living earthquake. The fans weren't just cheering, they were hysterical, as if they knew something extraordinary was about to happen. When the music began, the atmosphere instantly became intense. Every beat felt like the collective heartbeat of thousands in the arena. And when the two figures began to move, the entire energy of the venue felt drawn to the center of the stage. Their first movements were so synchronized, so sharp, that they transfixed the audience. Not a single step was missed. Not a single expression felt hollow. Everything was alive. Everything felt real and full of emotion. As time went on, the dance evolved into something more than mere choreography. It wasn't just about technique, but about the story told through the body. Every movement had meaning. Every transition felt like a new chapter in a story. The fans began screaming even louder, as if unable to contain their emotions. Some even cried, unable to believe what they were witnessing. The spotlights, on the other hand, accentuated every detail. The glistening sweat, the heavy breathing, and the expressions of unfakeable dedication. This was what made the performance feel so authentic. When the chorus arrived, the entire arena exploded. Faster, stronger, and more intense movements brought the stage to life. Even the floor seemed to vibrate to the beat. It's no exaggeration to say that the energy of the night was beyond ordinary. This wasn't just a performance. It was an experience that touched all the senses at once. Amidst all this, the clear, emotional vocals added another layer to the magic of the evening. The sound wasn't just heard, it was felt, reaching into the hearts of everyone who heard it. Many said this was the moment a new standard was set, a point where stage performance was no longer just about entertainment, but about art in its purest form. Reactions from various quarters began to emerge. The media, critics, and even the audience agreed on one thing: that night was something special. Many said that the performance changed the way people viewed concerts as a whole. It was no longer just a musical performance, but a profoundly emotional experience. Behind all the glitz and glamour, there was unseen hard work, relentless practice, intense dedication, and a commitment to always giving their best. This is what ultimately made the moment so powerful, because what was seen on stage was the result of a long, hard journey. As the song neared its end, the atmosphere turned more emotional. The movements began to slow, but the intensity only grew. The spotlights slowly dimmed, leaving dramatic shadows across the stage. And when the final note sounded, a momentary silence fell over the arena. Then, an explosion of cheers shook the venue again. Louder than before, more charged with emotion, as if everyone wanted to immortalize the moment in their memories. That night wasn't just about what happened on stage, but about how the thousands of people watching it changed their feelings. And perhaps that's what made it so special. Not just for what was seen, but for what was felt. A night not only remembered, but also told over and over again by anyone lucky enough to witness it. But the story wasn't truly over. Even after the cheers began to die down, a feeling lingered in the air, something beyond words, but palpable to everyone present that night. Some in the audience remained frozen, as if not ready to return to reality. Their eyes remained fixed on the now darkening stage, trying to replay every moment of what had just happened in their minds. In another corner, a group of fans embraced, laughing and crying all at once. They knew they had just been part of something rare, a moment that would never be repeated in the same way. The atmosphere outside the arena was no less lively. People left with the same expressions, awestruck, speechless, and full of stories they wanted to share. Every conversation was filled with phrases like, "Did you see that?" And "That was crazy." Social media began to fill with video clips, photos, and spontaneous reactions. Within minutes, the performance became a topic of conversation around the world, uniting millions of people in a shared experience. Interestingly, it wasn't just the fans who were impressed. Many who might have previously watched from afar now recognized that there was something different, something they couldn't ignore. For some, that night was a turning point, a moment that made them begin to understand why so many people connect emotionally through music and stage presence. And for those who had been along for the ride, it felt like the culmination of everything they had been through. It was proof that dedication and consistency can indeed produce something extraordinary. Ultimately, what remained were not just memories of the dance, the voices, or the stage lights, but a profound feeling that will live on. A reminder that in a world that moves so fast, there are still moments that can make time seem to stand still. Time continued to pass, but the echo of that night refused to fade. Even as the seats emptied and the arena lights completely dimmed, the lingering energy remained, like an invisible yet powerful imprint. The few crew members still on set exchanged glances, as if they realized that what had just happened was no ordinary performance. There was a sense of pride, but also awe, as they witnessed something that surpassed expectations. On the way home, many fans remained silent in their vehicles, earphones in, the same song playing on repeat, trying to relive the atmosphere they weren't ready to let go of. Others stared at their phones, rereading comments, rewatching short recordings, and smiling to themselves. Every tiny second of that night felt so precious, as if it held a deeper meaning than mere entertainment. Some even began writing about their experiences, trying to put into words what they felt. But often, they stopped mid-sentence because it was difficult to find the words that truly captured their feelings. On the other hand, the discussion began to expand. It wasn't just about who performed or how they performed, but about the impact they left behind. About how one night can change the way people view art, hard work, and dedication. Some called it a historic moment, others called it a new standard in the world of performance. But whatever you call it, one thing is certain. That night left a mark that will not easily be forgotten. And perhaps, years from now, when everything has changed and time has brought many new things, people will still remember that night the same way, full of awe and emotion. Because in the end, it's not just about what happened on stage, but about how that moment managed to touch so many hearts, creating a connection that transcends space, time, and words.